The Strange Beginning. My name is Emily. I am 24 years old and I live in a small town near the sea. People say our town is boring, but I don't agree. Here you can hear the sound of waves, smell the bread from the old bakery, and sometimes you can meet strange people. It all started on a rainy Tuesday. I was late for work, my umbrella was broken, and my shoes made that awful squish-squish sound with every step. I looked like a sad duck walking through the street. When I finally reached the bus stop, I saw him, a tall man with dark hair and a book in his hand. He didn't care about the rain at all. The book was getting wet, but he just smiled and kept reading. I thought, is he crazy or just romantic? The bus came late, of course. Small towns are like that. The man finally looked at me, and for a second, it felt like the world stopped. His eyes were calm, but a little sad. I don't know why, but I wanted to ask him, "Why are you sad?" Instead, I said the first stupid thing that came into my head. "Your book is drowning." He laughed. His laugh was warm, like tea after a cold walk. That was the first time we spoke. I didn't know then, but this rainy Tuesday would change everything. The bus ride. The bus was almost empty. Only an old lady with 3 shopping bags and a man who was already asleep. I sat near the window, and, of course, the tall man sat right across from me. For a while it was quiet. The sound of rain on the bus roof was like soft music. Then I noticed something. His book was upside down. I smiled and said, "You are not reading. You are only pretending." He looked surprised and then laughed again. "You found my secret," he said. "I don't really read on buses. I get sick if I read while moving, but people leave me alone if they think I'm busy with a book." I laughed too. "So you are a liar." "A small liar," he answered, with a smile that was too charming for a rainy morning. We talked more during the ride. His name was Daniel. He worked in the city library, which to me sounded both boring and romantic. Boring because of all the dust. Romantic because of all the stories. At one stop, the old lady with shopping bags tried to get off, but one bag broke. Apples rolled everywhere. Daniel jumped up and helped her. I watched him pick apples from under the seats, and I thought, oh no, he is not only handsome, he's also kind. Dangerous combination. When the bus finally reached my stop, I almost forgot to leave. Daniel looked at me and said, "Maybe I will see you again?" "Maybe," I answered, but inside I felt something strange, like I already knew we would meet again. And I was right. The library encounter, 3 days passed. I didn't see Daniel again. Of course, I told myself, "Emily, don't be silly. He is just a man from the bus. You meet people, you talk, then you never see them again." But my heart didn't listen. On Saturday morning, I decided to go to the library. Not because I wanted a book. Honestly, I still had 3 books at home that I never finished, but because something inside me whispered, "Go there." The library was quiet, as always. The air smelled like old paper and coffee, a little mix of history and laziness. I walked between the shelves, pretending to look for a book, and then I heard a voice. Looking for something special? I turned. It was him, Daniel. He stood there with the same calm smile, holding a pile of books in his arms. My first reaction was stupid, as usual. "Yes," I said. "I'm looking for the meaning of life. Do you have it in paperback?" Daniel almost dropped the books because he laughed so hard. "Sorry, we only have the meaning of life in hardcover. Very expensive." We both laughed, and just like on the bus, the world felt lighter. He helped me search for books I didn't really need. Every time he handed me one, he gave a short comment. "This one is about adventures. Warning, no dragons inside. This one will make you cry, but in a good way. This one is so boring, I usually give it to people I don't like. I laughed more in that 1 hour than in the last 2 months. He was funny in a quiet, soft way. Not loud jokes, but gentle ones, the kind that stay with you. At one point, we sat down at a table near the big window. Outside, the sun finally came out after days of rain. Light touched his face, and I saw something in his eyes. A sadness again, just like on the bus. I wanted to ask. The question was on my tongue. Why do you look sad? But instead I said, do librarians get free books? He smiled, but only with his lips. His eyes didn't smile this time. No, he said quietly. Some stories are never free. The way he said it gave me a small shiver, like a cold wind passing through a warm room. But then, before I could think more, he changed the topic. He asked about my life, my work, my favorite movies. He listened carefully, as if every word was important. And I, like a fool, told him everything. When I finally left the library, the sun was shining bright, but inside me there was a storm. I knew one thing for sure. Daniel was not just a man from the bus. He was someone who would change my life. And maybe break my heart. Coffee, secrets, and almost confessions. After the library meeting, Daniel and I started to see each other more often. Not because we planned it, at least not at first. The next week, I found him again at the bakery. I was buying bread, he was buying coffee. He looked surprised, I looked surprised. And then we both laughed. The baker, an old man with no teeth, looked at us like we were crazy children. You again, Daniel said. You again, I answered. It felt like a small magic trick, like the universe was playing with us. That day we decided to sit together in a small cafe near the square. It was not fancy, just 3 tables, old chairs, and a machine that made loud coffee sounds like a broken car. But somehow it felt perfect. We talked for hours. He told me about his love for old books, how he liked the smell of pages, how he sometimes imagined that characters were real people watching us. I told him about my work, about my cat, who was the real boss of my apartment, and about my dream to travel one day, maybe to Italy, maybe to anywhere with sun and ice cream. Daniel listened to everything with quiet attention. He didn't interrupt, didn't check his phone, didn't get bored. He made me feel like my simple words were important. At one point I joked, "Careful, if you keep listening like that, I might fall in love with you." He froze for just 1 second. His smile stayed, but his eyes turned darker. "Be careful with love," he said softly. "It is dangerous." I laughed, thinking he was just being poetic. "Dangerous? What are you, a secret vampire?" He laughed too, but there was something strange in his laugh. Not fake, but maybe hiding something. We changed the topic, but inside me, the word stayed like a small stone in a shoe. Dangerous. Why would he say that? Over the next weeks, our coincidences continued. I met him at the park, at the market, even at the bus stop again. Sometimes I thought, is this fate? Or is he secretly following me? But then I realized, maybe I was also following him without noticing. We started to walk together in the evenings. The town was quiet at night, only the sea made its endless song. I liked walking with him. Sometimes we didn't even talk, just walked side by side, like 2 old friends who didn't need words. But then there were moments when I caught him looking at me with that same sad expression, like he wanted to say something but couldn't. One evening, I finally asked, "Daniel, why do you always look sad when you think I don't see you?" He stopped walking. The streetlight made his face half light, half shadow. "Because happiness is dangerous for me," he whispered. I didn't understand. "What do you mean?" He opened his mouth like he wanted to explain, but then suddenly he smiled again and shook his head. "Nothing. Forget it. I'm just dramatic. Too many books, maybe." I wanted to push, to ask more, but his smile was so soft, so tired, that I let it go. That night, when I went to bed, I couldn't sleep. My heart was warm from his smile, but my mind was full of questions. Who was Daniel? What secret was hiding in his sad eyes? And why, even if love was dangerous, did I already feel myself falling into it? I didn't know, but I knew one thing. It was already too late to stop. Final part. The last letter. I never saw Daniel again after that night. He disappeared, like a dream when you wake up too fast. For days I waited at the library, at the bus stop, at the cafe. But he was gone. No calls, no messages, nothing. Only silence. One evening when I came home, I found an envelope under my door. My name was written in his handwriting. My hand shook as I opened it. Inside was a short letter. Emily, I wanted to stay, but I cannot. My life is full of shadows I cannot bring to you. You gave me light, laughter, and hope. Please keep them. Please live your life without me. Forgive me. Daniel. I sat on the floor with the letter in my hands. My heart felt heavy, but at the same time, strangely warm. Because even if he was gone, I knew our story was real. Sometimes love does not stay forever. Sometimes it comes like rain on a Tuesday morning. Sudden, beautiful, and unforgettable. And maybe that is enough. Post-final. A quiet memory. Sometimes when I walk by the sea, I think of Daniel. I remember his laugh, his calm eyes, and the way he held books like they were treasures. He is gone, but his memory is not. It lives in the sound of rain, in the smell of old paper, in the soft silence between waves. And maybe love is not about keeping someone forever. Maybe it is about remembering them forever.